Hey, Colin here. Today is the 21st of May 2012, and I'm going to start this video with a clip that's 3 days old, but still relevant because it plays a role in my Dungeoneering stuff. But this is just me getting 99 range, and it's going to happen in 48 XP, and there we go. So, this was a really easy 99 to get. If you're going to chin, I say do it now before the botany kits. I know I've already talked about it. And I got a comment in the last video just wondering what I was wearing when I was doing it. Like how I was getting these like pretty decent XP drops. It's full elite void, but not full elite. You wear like I was wearing a Carol's top because I was too poor for Armadillo, and then I had a Fury on, and I was wearing Glaven boots, and I wasn't even using Rigor. I was using Eagle Eye, I think, which is the 15% bonus, and then I switched to Rigor for the last like 1 mil XP and was like, wow, why didn't I do this the whole time? So if you're gonna do it, just use Rigor and be a little less AFK. In total, I only died twice by the time it was all finished. So that's pretty good, I guess. I only lost, 99 range was only going to take me 20,000 chins, and I did it in 42,000 chins. So I'm pretty pro of this game. So this clip is just me getting the range cape. I've been looking forward to it for a while, just because it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool looking cape, and I had a lot more respect for it before I went and chinned, and then realized, hey, it's not that hard. As you can see on the screen, I was using my mouse to I was clicking and then moving the screen like with my mouse. On my Razor, I have a functionality key which I set up for universal scrolling. So all I do is just click on the screen, and then I can adjust the camera angle while holding down that button. And this makes it a lot easier to like have your laptop far away and still be able to escape. Because like sometimes I don't want to use the keys on the keyboard, so like I'll just use my mouse and I can sit back and be a little more relaxed. But let's take a look at this. Die pool number 6 and Suomi number 9. Okay, ignore the weekly where Suomi's first by like 15 mil, and then it's all good. And then here's a clip of me getting 105 Dungeoneering. It was a 27-minute floor. I think I just surf prodded with Jacob because it was just this random keyer who was not that good, I guess. And apparently the leech like left halfway through. But that was the 105 Dungeoneering clip. And as for right now, I'm at 1.7 mil until 106. So I think I've knocked out about 600, 700k from there. But a lot of the floors I've been doing lately have been suicide and leeched. So don't like the XP gains just aren't that great for them. However, the money is like when you're doing 3 or 4 calls in a row, and you can do 3 in an hour at 1.5 mil a floor, like it really starts adding up. And also with the double loot weekend, which I didn't even take advantage of. I'm probably gonna regret not going to the chaos tunnels, but still, I used the weekend well for dungeoneering and making money. But since double loot came up, the prices of next items, which is like what I've been flipping and stuff, have been really big. Like the margins have been extremely big on them. So there's a lot of room for manipulation, like not to manipulate other people, but to just manipulate the prices of items and make some quick cash. I don't know, I've been making absolute bank this weekend, which is good because I have some expensive skills left to do. But fortunately now range is done, so there's 30 mil I don't have to spend ever again. Yeah, I was only 15, but I die, so I'm bad. But there's 30 mil I never have to spend again. I'm just looking at my skills right now. I still have to buy prayer, and I calculated it out. I think I'm about 50 mil shy from doing 99 prayer, which I can do. That won't be too bad. On this maze door, I think there's a quicker path jumping straight through the middle and then turning left, but I haven't tested it, so I'm not quite sure yet. When I do test it and figure it out, I'll tell you. And oh, I do have some really good news. I finally figured out how to prayer switch on the Warp Galuga. It took so many tries, but finally I figured it out. And the next time I'm recording and I run into Galuga Boss, I'll upload it no matter what the time of the floor is, because it's ninja. Like, you need to be dead on when you do it, because it's really hard to switch through. But yeah, once you get the hang of it, it's not too bad. But if you think of Jad as prayer switching, like Jad will lift up his feet when he's doing a magic attack, and then he'll stomp them when he's doing a range. Like, that's considered like the heads up. With the Warp Galuga, you don't even get a heads up. It's like you'll be praying melee, which is what you want to do if you're in close, and then as soon as like this magic like the bigger yellow ball appears, you have to pray magic instantly or you're done. And then as soon as the little like greenish ball appears, you have to pray range or else you're done. And you can do it for a good while, but then it's like if you don't kill the boss quick enough, you just get tired. Like you just lose focus after a while. So here's one thing I want to talk about. I just teleported back to grab the GT and then drag it forward. That's something that I've been noticing that's not done very well as of late. Here we didn't have to both run for the key, but I guess he was keen and I wasn't, so I probably should let him do it. But dragging GT is really important. If you see that the GT is kind of just sitting there and the key is gone, if he says DGT, that means he wants someone to pick it up and drag it to the next like path, like down the next line. But it hasn't been done very well lately because like I'll find that I'll teleport back to my group and they'll be like 6 doors north and I'll be like, wow, you didn't drag GT. But in this floor, like I'm just serve prodding because sometimes you gotta do it. Sometimes it's just there's no point to just I don't know who this guy is. I know he gets paid as long as it's under 25 minutes. Like he doesn't really need I guess it makes me a douchebag talking like that. But if he's suiciding and the leech isn't playing, there's a mass amount of salves on the ground. So like it's really easy and really tempting to just loot them so that you have a safety net in case something happens. Like when I'm doing these kind of floors, there's no need for me to die. And I'm figuring that's what other people think too when I bring randoms into suicide and leech. Because why would you care? Like they don't care if you get paid, right? But in total I've refunded twice now to the one leech I'm doing, and I've taken them from 60 to 75 in the past about 4 days, 3 or 4 days. And he's just doing occults now, which is great. It means more money for me. But he AFKs hard. But what I'm finding is really useful too with leeches is if you can get the leech on Skype, then the leech will AFK, like he'll be playing Xbox or something. But if you PM him on Skype, it'll make that little sound, so he'll know, oh, something like they're looking for me. And here I screw up when I couldn't pray at the altar for some reason. But they'll kind of get like a heads up that hey, I'm needed on RuneScape, because like if you spam in the public chat, sometimes they'll miss it because they'll be watching YouTube or something. But anyone who's been PM'd on Skype or spammed on Skype lately will know that you can't ignore it. It's a pretty blatant sound. So here we get a little bit lost. Nobody has a gate, and then they move it, and we find our path, and it's going to be a one-way through statues, so I think I'm just going to idle here for a bit. I'm going to try to help out at least. I'm used to dungeon with at least one max caper now, so most of the doors, like, there's a lot of doors I can't do, but about half of them I can, I'd say. It slows down my keying for sure, but it also ensures that, like, the floor will be done properly. Like, there will be a full 13% because there's no doors that are impossible to do. And we're still testing the what herbs you find on the ground correspond with the doors that you're going to end up finding in the dungeon. And it's definitely right. If you see a Winter's Grip or a Lycopus on the ground, pick it up and say GH Lycopus, GH Wormwood, GH Magebane, or whatever you find, because 100% you're probably going to need it. About the critical paths, let's talk about that for a minute. Whether or not it's like 500 XP for each critical path, I'm not sure. And the definition of a critical path, I'm still not sure. I'm pretty sure it means that it's a door that is crucial to finding the boss. But you definitely can feel the bonus rooms, and that's when you get about 80 XP. And the other thing with the bonus rooms is that some of them are either pot doors, so like you'll have to pot up to open them. But a lot of them are really low level too. If I'm dungeoning with like 2 max capers, most of the doors on the critical paths are like 96 agility or like 98 crafting kind of thing. But the bonus path, I seem to be able to fly right through. So I'm thinking that if you're a lower level like total, and you're running a path and you're getting like 80 XP per, you should know that you're not on a critical path, and you just sound legit when you say it's not a critical path. I'm still not like an expert on it yet, but I've been getting a little bit more practice with it and like just getting a feel of, okay, is this path going to be critical or not? The other thing you look at is if you open up your world map less than like I'd say 15 to 20 times a floor, you're probably doing it wrong. And I don't mean like standing idle and opening it up 15 times. I mean you spam it like in combat until it pops up for like half a second and you can just quickly see where everyone is. Like if I asked you in the middle of the floor, what color are you on the map, and you couldn't tell me, then I would know that you haven't been checking the map and you have zero idea on what perspective is like on the map. I think that's just the biggest difference between a keyer and someone else, like someone who hasn't keyed much. And I think that's something that people can work on for sure. I know Jacob was talking about this yesterday, how he doesn't really check the map and he just kind of GTs around, and like that's great because if you have a keyer who knows perspective, then everything's fine. But if everybody had perspective on the map and everyone spoke verbally about what they had gated, like you see that door right now that's in the like the middle east of the floor, if that's not gated, we have a serious issue. Now I don't remember if it is or if it's not, but if it's not, then there's a serious issue. Another thing I've been working on a lot is the lever store, the 4-man, but doing it without 5-man, like just doing a 4-man. And I've been getting better at it. In the last video I posted, there was a triple fail when I screwed up 3 times in a row. But I think I've been getting better at it. And the secret is, well, one, if you're on Skype, it's not even difficult. But as a keyer, if you're the one doing the 2 levers at the same time, you want to tell your team to watch you, and as soon as you move is when they pull the lever, not when you say 3 or anything like that. It has to be as soon as you move. So what you're going to do is you're going to pull the lever and then move, and then they all have to pull it in between the time you're moving, and you only have 1 tick to do it. If you're half a tick or a full, well, you can only be a full tick, but if you're a tick behind, you have an issue. And I'm not quite sure why I made a strong melee potion during this floor. I wasn't really paying that much attention to it, but I have a strong melee potion and I'm making a rager. Okay, so let's talk about surf prodding 101, because this is what we're good at, and this is what I'm going to label the video as, surf prodding 101. Ragers are pro. If you can make ragers and you can make scrolls, do it, because they give like, I think it's like 10% melee defense bonus, which is great. And the scrolls absolutely tear the majority of bosses, especially on warped floors. If you're doing warps and you can make yourself a rager, it's going to do you a world of good. You can see here that I'm running way up here. Oh, this is why I have the melee potion. See, I wasn't being that much of a retard. I knew what was going on. So that's good. And it was with a key too, so that probably opened up the last couple paths. I guess we could talk about the YK boss. People call it Thunderous. I call it YK. I think it is like the more accepted name is Thunderous, but I call it YK because that's the first 2 letters in the name. It's really easy to do, and if you're on World 77 and you've never done YK before, just take a second and listen to this, because you're not always going to have a level 100 plus Dungeoneer who can just solo it for you, and that 100 plus Dungeoneer doesn't want to solo it for you. Like he won't die when he does it. Like it's not hard to not die during that boss, but there's a couple like key points that are really going to help. If you have your full team in the boss and they know what they're doing, then it's not a difficult boss to kill. It takes very little time, and you actually almost get excited when you see it, because it's like, oh, YK, that's easy. But there's a few things to talk about. For starters, if you're like scared and you're like, oh, I don't want to kill this boss, and you're in the boss room standing behind a pillar waiting, get out, because it'll do its mage attack and it just won't end well. So as we can see, this is about a 20-minute floor for 102k XP. I don't know, cult. And I guess I'm out of time just to continue rambling. Any other things with the YK boss is just whenever it speaks, run behind the pillar. And if you're not attacking the boss, don't stand behind the pillar, because it'll trigger its mage attack. But as always, guys, thanks for watching and have a good one.